Today, cryptocurrencies remain under pressure. Two DeFi developers call it quits, and several tokens plummet. And the war in Ukraine threatens the nation's top crypto and tech talent. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Mackenzie Sigalos. The crypto market is extending its losses from over the weekend. Prices fell an average of 0.2% by noon Eastern. Bitcoin dropped about 0.75% and was worth a little less than $39,000. Ether fell about 1.8% in the past 24 hours, and XRP fell about 0.25%. To get more context on all that's happening in the crypto market, here's our own Tanea McKeel.
Bitcoin's correlation with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 fell to a 2-month low last week, and that's according to data from Kaiko. But it's sort of back to where it started before that 18% surge that we saw last Monday and into the following trading day. Crypto was really having its digital gold moment for a while there, and it was exciting for investors to see it not just diverge for a little bit from stocks, which were falling on the war between Russia and Ukraine. It wasn't just that. There's still this nice narrative around the use of crypto and humanitarian aid to Ukraine. It's too soon to call it a decoupling, though. Many investors are saying that it could take a long time to see that hold, with some saying, hey, to see Bitcoin differentiate from tech stocks for at least 12 months before we declare it a decoupling. Nevertheless, though, those same people are also saying that even though that decoupling from stocks isn't now, it is inevitable. And you're getting a hint of that. Bitcoin has been trading, at least last week, like commodities. So that is what we're coming off on. Commodities still surging. Bitcoin has sort of fallen back to where it started, like I said before, but it has been trading a little up and down over the flat line, at least in the first part of today, Monday. So it's still trading like a risk asset. On top of the uncertainty around the conflict in Ukraine, we have the Federal Reserve preparing to hike its key policy rate for the first time in 4 years next week. I think what Ukraine has been showing investors is something about Bitcoin that's really perplexed them for a long time, which is that it is multifaceted. So these past couple of weeks alone, it's shown that it can act like gold, like cash, like risk assets, like commodities. So even though for years investors have struggled to reduce Bitcoin's identity to a single type of asset, if there's one thing investors can agree on, it's that Bitcoin is highly volatile and future oriented.
All right, here are some headlines you should know about. First, many of the declines in altcoins are tied to the departure of two major DeFi developers. Andre Cronje and Anton Nell announced on Sunday that they are leaving the crypto space entirely. Cronje is the founder of Yearn Finance, and Nell is known for the Phantom platform. The news sent Phantom token FTM plummeting as much as 15%, Yearn falling more than 7%, and a host of other tokens tumbling. Next, Venezuela just linked its national minimum wage to the country's crypto price. President Nicolas Maduro announced the monthly minimum wage will be pegged to half the value of the country's petro cryptocurrency. That puts the payout at roughly $28. Now, a couple things to note. The U.S. has sanctioned the petro cryptocurrency, and U.S. investors are banned from trading it. And most notably, the U.S. has a $5 million bounty on the country's head of the cryptocurrency, citing alleged corruption and ties to drug trafficking. Finally, FTX is expanding into Europe. The company announced a new branch will set up shop in Switzerland and Cyprus. Called FTX Europe, naturally, the service will bring a licensed investment firm to the region. This is happening just as the U.S. branch of FTX announced a new $8 billion valuation, making it among the most valuable firms in the world. Okay, on to our main story of the day. Crypto has become a major focus in the war in Ukraine. Russians and Ukrainians alike have rushed to protect their money with stablecoins. Crypto donations to the Ukrainian government skyrocketed, reaching $59 million according to Elliptic. The invasion has also caused many in the crypto and tech industry to flee the country. CNBC's Kate Rooney spoke to NEAR Protocol's Illia Poloshukin about the tumultuous time for crypto talent in the country.
Joining me now, Illia Poloshukin. He is the co-founder at NEAR Protocol. Illia, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me here.
Of course, of course. You also worked at Google and really have had a front row seat to Ukraine's growth as a tech hub. You grew up there. I do want to talk about what's going on in Ukraine right now, but I want to start with NEAR. You work at NEAR Protocol as a co-founder. Tell us about that crypto platform and what it does.
For sure, yeah. So kind of from the start, we had a goal to how do we build a system that can work globally, that can provide security of the blockchain, of the kind of cryptography to everyone, and in a way that is easy to use and doesn't cost, a fortune. And so, I mean, obviously everyone heard about Bitcoin at this point. Some people have heard of Ethereum, and those platforms are kind of being innovators in the space, have like showcased what's possible, but it's still not a mass adoption technology, right? We're not having our financial infrastructure running on this. We don't use our day-to-day money to this. We don't have our kind of applications using payment systems and kind of marketplaces on blockchain. And so what NEAR has set out to do is to build it for masses, right? Make it so easy to use, right, as you using Facebook or Google, and make it so scalable that you don't need to think about kind of costs of the blockchain or the infrastructure itself.
You mentioned at the beginning that you're from Ukraine and grew up there. I'd love to get your take on Ukraine as a tech hub, but first want to talk about crypto. How are we seeing cryptocurrencies play into the conflict there as either a crowdfunding source or a store of value in some cases?
For sure, yeah. I think right now it's definitely mostly used for crowdfunding. I think people are not really honestly have time to think about store of value right now. Right now, people are trying to either get to safety or support the defense and of integrity of Ukraine. And so has been a multiple kind of fundraising initiatives that are feeding into different aspects of the kind of helping people in Ukraine right now. And all of them include crypto. So even the ones that that are done by the government, they have included crypto addresses, and they have raised substantial amounts of money, like 50 million plus in crypto for supporting government. We have started a more humanitarian focused effort called Unchained Fund that also raised like over $3 million at this point for helping with food, shelter, evacuation. As well, purely in crypto, and kind of we're able to raise like $1.5 million, I think, in 24 hours. And so I think crypto right now is just this really fast method. If we talk about kind of SWIFT, like international money transfer, right, it's like 1 day minimum, and potentially like for bigger checks, it can actually become slower. And so crypto right now is actually the fastest way to move money around, right? And so on the other side now, kind of with what's happening in Ukraine, people are actually willing to accept crypto as well. So I think a person from Ministry of Digital Transformation in Ukraine had mentioned that 60% of the suppliers they're working with are accepting crypto already. And so they're able to kind of pay directly in crypto because it's also faster for them, right? And speed right now is in essence. So I think right now it's really this kind of global payment network that actually works and delivers the speed that we all promised, but actually like because of, the sad reason, we actually see this working right now.
Right. And does this feel like a milestone for the industry? It feels like, as you mentioned, sad circumstance for this to be the proof point for crypto's use case. But does this feel like a big moment in terms of proving its speed, efficiency, and its use case overall for global crowdfunding?
Honest opinion, we're not probably thinking about this just yet. Right now, again, all the focus is on how do we save people and how do we kind of support the people who are fighting on the other side. Like we have kind of friends and colleagues who are actually actively fighting or being bombed right now. And so it's a little bit hard to think about kind of more global trends. But at the same time, like we do find it being an easier method, right? And kind of even when some supplier doesn't accept, for example, crypto, there are always people in crypto industry who are able to help out to be kind of an intermediary who would accept crypto and then pay out in fiat, right? And so kind of the way it ended up being is kind of a whole community in Ukraine that's been kind of united by helping. Right now we have a pretty big, like 1,000+ people, kind of founders and people, like active people in the community in Ukraine, who are right now all pretty much working on helping kind of people there. And so they're kind of organizing a lot of stuff, organizing shelter, organizing kind of deliveries of food, of ammunition in some cases as well, and leveraging crypto as a way to kind of move money around really fast.
Before we go, you should know that there's a lot more to that interview, and you can catch the full conversation at cnbc.com/cryptoworld. But that's all for today. Crypto World will be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.